Radio host, overall media personality, Charlamagne the God walks the walk and definitely talks the talk. For more than a decade, he's been a co-host of the wildly popular morning show, The Breakfast Club. His guests range from former President Barack Obama to some of the biggest stars in entertainment. Charlamagne the God's new book is called Get Honest or Die Lying: Why Small Talk Sucks. He writes that big conversations can help unite our divided world. Charlamagne the God, good morning. How you doing?
Nate, how are you, brother?
Good to see you. So let's just jump right into it.
Gayle, Tony, how are y'all too?
We're good.
We're happy to have you here.
We appreciate you dapping up the whole crew when you walked in. We noticed that.
Always,
man.
they the ones that make it happen.
No doubt about it.
That is so true.
We agree with you on that. Yeah. Small talk. Most of us do it. Some of us are really good at it. But why does it suck to you?
It sucks because it's a waste of time. Like, you know, we all know what we're here for. Like, as soon as I saw Gayle this morning, first thing she came to me was just started talking to me about what she gonna talk about on the show.
Yep.
There's no hi, no nothing. There was one hug.
Did you say hi?
No, there was a hug and she got right to it. And so I feel like that's what we need to be doing. Plus, you know, it's not just the regular, just, you know, chit-chat that somebody's having with you and they're trying to make conversation. I feel like we're in a generation where we make all these micros, macros. Like we have these, you know, conversations about the smallest things, but because of social media and all these other platforms, we amplify them. So when the big issues come across our desk, we don't even know how to talk about them or deal with them, if we even choose to deal with them or talk about them at all.
You know, it's interesting that you would write a book like this because you describe yourself on page 29, the perfect blend of righteousness and righteousness.
Ratchetness and righteousness.
Righteous, both of those.
So are you?
No.
First time
Take that ratchet thing out.
First time I met you, you started rapping Bodak Yellow by Cardi B.
She got a little bit of ratchetness in it. Just a little bit, a sprinkle.
We're not here to talk about me, Nate. We're here to talk about you. But it's interesting that you would want to write a book like this since you make your living talking. But I want people to hear the evolution of you, how you started out talking and what you talk about today. Because even you had to make changes in your life.
Well, I mean, I'm 45 now. I'll be 46 in June. I've been doing radio for 26 years. So just think about that. Like, you know, Muhammad Ali said the person who thinks the same way at 50 as they did at 30 wasted 20 years of their life. So if I hadn't grown, if I hadn't evolved, if my conversation hadn't changed, where would I be? What would I be at this point? You know, life changes you. I got 4 daughters. I'm married now. Like, I feel like, you know, if you're constantly learning something every day, if you're constantly unlearning every day, your conversation should change.
And you talk about that in the chapter, The Gossip Files, and how we love gossip here in America, and sometimes it drives our conversations. But to Gayle's point, there was a shift. Because when I was reading that chapter, I thought about you early on in your career. And not to highlight those moments, but you went from someone who would dive in a little bit into the mess to now having more elevated conversations. When did that shift happen? Why did it happen? Was there a moment in time that changed the way you looked at this industry?
Probably having more empathy for people, because, you know, it's easy to not have empathy when you kind of on the outside looking in, and you don't necessarily look at people as human, like you just look at them as an artist or maybe a product. As a story, right? But then when you realize that this person is just a human, and when you get into the game and you start hearing things about yourself, and you're like, yo, that's not accurate in no way, shape, or form, right? So it's just like, you just learn to have more empathy for people, that's all. And probably therapy too, going to therapy.
I like what you say about therapy, because you talk about it when you were first diagnosed with anxiety, you didn't even know what it meant. But you said you can't heal what you don't reveal.
That's right.
And that has been a journey for you too, to be so candid about.
Yeah, because my whole life I've been dealing with panic attacks. I just didn't know what they were. And plus, you know, the life I was living at the time, I thought you were supposed to have a sense of paranoia. But what happens when, you know, you get into a space where you got more money than you've ever had in your life, more success than you've ever had in your life, but you're still dealing with that anxiety. You're still dealing with that those bouts of depression. So 2010, when I was back home living with my mom in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, and I was like 31, 32 years old, and my daughter was like 1 or 2. I'd been fired 4 times from radio. I had like one of the worst panic attacks I ever had in my life. So when I went to the doctor that time, doctor told me the same thing that they always tell me. Your heart is perfectly fine, but do you suffer from anxiety? Because it sounds like you had a panic attack. And I was like, anxiety, what is that? And so in my mind, all I had to do was get another gig and everything would be fine. Next gig I got was The Breakfast Club and had massive success, but we're still dealing with those same issues.
Just masking it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're still you. You know, speaking of anxiety, depression, worry, panic, and this is no joke, people are feeling that when they think about their choices going into this election, right?
Yes.
You are saying that you are not endorsing Joe Biden, but you will vote for Joe Biden, and you point out in the book that a lot of people are on the couch. They don't like either candidate. You've called them trash choices. Don't you think you have a responsibility as somebody in the public eye to excite young people to get off the couch and make a choice? Because sitting out is a kind of a vote in its own way. It supports one or the other.
Well, yeah, I can't lie to my audience. So if I'm not excited, why would I, lie to my audience and try to get them excited? And I don't think it's my job, to get people excited. It's the candidate's job to get people excited. So if they want people to be excited about voting, they probably should run better candidates.
Well, that's not about the candidate. It's about democracy. You should get excited about participating.
Oh, no.
And it's not just the presidential election.
Yeah,
it's
it's
also on the
all
local
everything
level,
else.
Oh, absolutely.
state level.
Absolutely. But it's not even just about, participating in democracy. This election is about protecting democracy. And, it's funny to me because, I come on these programs and a lot of the left-leaning programs, y'all just don't know how to push narratives. Because I'll come on these programs and say, I think Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. I'll say that he wanted to suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. He led an attempted coup in this country. But you never lead with that. But if I say Joe Biden is an uninspiring candidate, that will be the headline.
How about
The right does a great job of pushing their narrative regardless.
But democracy dies if people don't participate in it. Also.
I'm not telling people not to participate. I'm voting. I've consistently said I'm voting, and I've told you who I think the threat to democracy is, which is Donald Trump.
And you think they should get off the couch and vote?
Who?
People out there. You calling on folks.
It's three choices you have this year. You have the Republicans who are the crooks, the Democrats who are the cowards because they don't fight enough, and the couch, which is voter apathy. It is the candidate's job to energize people to get off the couch.
All right.
Only thing I can do is constantly tell you what I think, and I think that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Now, Tony, with me saying that, who do you think, who would you vote for with me saying that?
Who would I vote for?
With
I'm just
me
thinking
saying
about
that, who would you vote
I'm
for?
thinking about America dying, its democracy dying, because people do
For
not
sure.
engage with it, and so that's why I was hoping
you keep
would
saying
say,
it's
get out
not
there.
engaged, but I'm not saying I'm not engaging.
We're in trouble now on this commercial break.
But no,
Let's sell you a book and then pay some bills.
But I want Tony to answer the
What's
question.
it?
Based off what I said, who would you vote for?
Yeah.
We'll answer in the commercial break. Charlamagne the God, thank you
The
so much.
left sucks at
Get
messaging.
honest or die
Man,
lying.
I am not on the
On
left.
sale now.
I am not on the left.